All right, welcome everyone. Let's see what the news will do in 25 minutes from now. We have the fund rate cut. They expect 1 base point to lower it. I think it's already a bit priced in. Gold, we have this trend line, which I think it will be swept. It's either way. We are at an area of interest over here. Sellers will come in, given the fact of structure. We see bearish structure, overall trend is bullish. I think potentially, or we will break up, or we will break down first and take this trend line liquidity. But we have grabbed liquidity over here. I think at gold we're inducing sellers, but I don't know if it's enough. Let's see if we can make something of this trend line. Trend line is gone. It's the 15-minute telling us already had an inducement from these areas. Tapped into this supply, did a bearish break of structure internally over here. So it's all depending which liquidity will be taken first, and then we can check if there is an entry potentially on gold. So let's see how that plays out. Let's check GBP USD as well. One of the pairs I'm trading very often. We can see the price is near a trend line. It's inducing sellers from the trend line. And we are at an area of resistance as well and in a supply. So yeah, tons and tons of sellers will look for shorts. I wait for the liquidity to be taken out, wait for a reaction on the lower time frame to see if we can short into this support. Let's have a look at the DXY. What's the DXY doing? Well, it makes sense. We can see that the DXY was pretty bearish for quite some time. And since the last days, we have pushed towards the downside in which we failed many times. So I think the Fed rate cut is already a bit priced in. But I wouldn't be surprised if price wants to go for this major low. This is an important low. So yeah, keen to see how that will play out. But there is still liquidity. So what I can see for the DXY is potentially, if price wants to induce buyers first, then we can look for a potential short into these lows. But we have to see and wait, because this is where the resistance is. This is where the major area of liquidity is. There are tons and tons of buyers that went in on these areas. So potentially if we tap in, new buyers will come as well, in which I expect price to melt. I do expect when we see this meltdown, which is a huge amount of pips, let me see. Well, it's 40-ish pips, so it's okay. We can expect it to melt, but I think there will be a chance that if we take out this low, we will see a huge spike up, because everyone thinks the market will go lower, and the dollar will go lower, and I truly believe that that's the case. Sure thing. I can explain. It's quite easy. If they lower interest rates on the dollar, it's less likely for other countries to hold the dollar and get interest on it. So that will mean that the dollar will lose some value. That was also expected, but we have to understand those Fed rates. The rate cut is Well, it's announced by Trump many times. And he wanted to cut the rates, but the Fed was holding off. And still, with the tariffs in place, we're not very sure if the consumer in the US pays for the tariffs. If that isn't the case, it's a smart thing to do. Otherwise, I think inflation will skyrocket. But let's see. I truly believe that we still have some to go, but for now, we have sellers trapped in this area. So I wait for those sellers to be taken out, which can happen on these events, where you push up and then melt all the way down. So that's what I'm waiting for currently. But yeah, let's see what happens. Gold, yeah, like I said, it was inducing sellers, so I could see a push up. We have grabbed liquidity on the dollar already. We can check if there's more liquidity to take account of. For now, I think this is what it is. Did react of this area over here. Pretty keen to see what will happen next. We still have 20 minutes on the clock. If there are any questions whatsoever, put them in the chat. Happy to go over them. Easy going. This was a trade I was in today. Target was achieved. I entered on the London session over here, and price just rocketed off, which was a nice trade. Obviously shared in my Discord, so other participants in the Discord could take the same trade, and it was a huge one, that's for sure. It was a huge one. We can have a look at the trade. It was this one, 1 to 2 risk to reward, pretty easy. Following structure, liquidity, build up, sweep of that liquidity, inducement of sellers. Very slow PA, almost nearly got to my take profit in the first instance, but then it was consolidating, and in the end it reached my take profit, which is pretty nice. And it's building up right now. And it's not only the trend line, which we have to take account of, but it's also the resistance that is building up here. There will be so many sellers looking for shorts, expecting the market to crash, which is weird because we could expect shorts on the DXY. But we have to understand that if everyone thinks the same thing, very often the opposite happens, right? This is how trading works in many occasions. So yeah, it's just now waiting for the rate cut decision. Then 8:30 we have the FOMC press conferences, where our good friend Powell will speak on his behalf. So that will be interesting as well. That would be giving a bit more clarification on the decision, why they're doing it. So I will be monitoring that as well later on, or read a summary of that. Easy going. The hard thing is with gold is that we're trading at all-time highs. So I do think longs could be the case. But what also can happen is that we are grabbing this area of liquidity, and then against everyone's expectations, we're moving towards the downside. I think this major trend line holds some significance, and very often what we see is that trend line liquidity is not holding. Every third touch of a trend line is where a huge amount of sellers in this case will come in, expecting price to move down. And very often what we see is the opposite happening. So it's everywhere. I mean, I just made a video about it. It will be tomorrow on my YouTube channel, but look at these details, right? We know resistance, sellers come in. We have early buyers trapped. We sweep those areas, and then price just rocketed off. Can you play some music? Sure thing. All right, is this music that you like, Mr. Nirvana? So yeah, interesting to see how trendline liquidity very often is not holding and how we can use that into our advantage, right? Breaks internal market structure bearish. So many sellers enter from these areas, and what happened, right? Price just rocketed off. It's crazy. Yeah, that's for sure. What is Bitcoin doing at the moment? Also pretty interesting. Bitcoin created a massive resistance area, which is a nice area to trade in. Can we see? It's not looking too bad on Bitcoin as well. We have a trend line. Now let's see if we have some internal liquidity. Yes, we have internal liquidity. We have an area of support and resistance over here. So if price decides to take that out, we can look for a potential long into the major resistance area where the major orders lie. This is where the huge ass liquidity is. Alert in on the support, going into GU, alert in over here. Oh, wrong, my bad. How's the music going? Traders Nirvana, do you like it? It's better? Let me know. Okay, love it, amazing. Yeah, like I said, mainly these events like this Fed rate cut, which is, yeah, supposedly in the books for some months right now. Trump wants to have those rate cuts, and he is not very hiding it in some sense. And sure thing, can do, easy going. Better? So yeah, I think it's already priced in, and we have to take account of that. DXY. This is definitely an area we want to cover over here with this major wick. Some internal liquidity, but it would be nice if price wants to come in, come down, easy going. Likewise for EU, major area of resistance over here. So I wouldn't be surprised if price wants to tap into that. We have grabbed liquidity already from these areas. So yeah, either way, we're just going to buy into that liquidity. There's another little nice thing over here, which is the trend line combining with that area. So we could even see, depending on what the DXY wants to do. I mean, if the DXY wants to push down lower, yeah, obviously this is a bit risky, but maybe there's an opportunity to buy into that liquidity. Let's see. Clean as trend line building up. 1 minute price action. We have internal liquidity over here. This is the resistance into support flip. You can see it's going to hold. Always take the lows and the wicks included. Oh, fuck. Thanks, Dimitris. I'm looking for the spot chart, I think. I don't recall which pair I use. Well, whatever, we can make a new analysis. It's pretty easy. Going in for that resistance on Bitcoin. We have our area of potential liquidity. We do have our area of support over here. So everyone is buying from these supports. Also, fun fact, we did have a bullish break of structure internally on the 5-minute price action. This is what's inducing ton and ton of buyers. People will look for longs at these areas, expecting the market to react from these areas, coming in and then go higher. But what we very often see is the price wants to take that liquidity, and then when that liquidity has been grabbed, doing the real move. You can also see still GU. There are so many sellers that are getting heavily induced right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if price just want to wick them out. It's very interesting to see what will be happening next. Internal liquidity here, 15-minute price action. Euro is already pushing down, interesting. What's the DXY doing? Yeah, it's going sideways. This is just trapping in buyers and sellers, I guess. It's pretty easy. We have a support over here. Combine that with, is this a trend line, which has already been swept. Thanks, Mace, appreciate it. Now let's wait and see what will happen next. If you're going to take a trade, take it at your own risk. Don't just copy me. Try to understand the market yourself. It's way more powerful than just copying. You can do it obviously, but it's at your own risk, and it's very risky trading these. heavy news events. This is why I always have a separate trading account for these things, because I don't want to be blowing my account, because it can run through your stop loss, meaning that, yeah, if the all pairs in this period is a little risky, okay, price can just go beyond your stop loss, meaning that if price is moving so fast, new orders can't be tracked by the brokers. This is not the case with obviously future contracts, but with CFD brokers, definitely that's the case. I had it once myself, blew my whole account on an NFP trade. Pretty stupid, was in my early years as a trader, so yeah, obviously happens. Of course, easy going. Let's see what will happen next. We have some pairs on the watch. GU on the watch. It's just like playing ping pong here, right? Goes up, goes down, goes for liquidity to liquidity objective. That's what the market is doing. Nothing more, nothing less. Everyone that tells you differently, well, don't understand what liquidity really means. How you like that for the music? It will come. News is in a few minutes, guys. Will come anytime soon. Less than 2 minutes. A bit more than 2 minutes, my bad. Okay, for some new people in, this was a trade I took this morning. Trade was shared in my Discord. I share all my trades there. It's all verified, by the way, so yeah, easy going. You can check all my trades over there. I'm currently in a winning streak of 4 trades. Let's see if we can continue it, but the strategy is pretty solid, purely based upon liquidity, purely based on traps in the market, which tells you the real narrative of price. Pretty interesting. It's free to join, easy going. One minute on the clock. I do play funded accounts, but sure as hell I don't use funded accounts on these events, because that's pretty rubbish and pretty stupid. That's my opinion. Use just your personal capital to trade these events. It's very high risk, and a loss on a funded is just unnecessary risk. I know what I can risk on my personal accounts. With these setups, 0.5% per trade, easy going. We don't want to over trade or over risk too much, especially with these events. All right, news coming in. A few. XY coming for these lows, major gap, trade deleted. GBP, JPY, failed. What's happening with gold? Gold failed. Moving my stop loss above these highs. Don't take the full risk. Easy going, major profit. No need to over risk. No need to move your stop loss to break even. Look at that, look at that. That melts just completely and take profit hit. All right, guys, this was just easy, easy. We go from liquidity point to liquidity point. It's that damn easy. Well, this looks pretty awful. Let's see how it looks over here. Still in the trade, but we have to, the DXY has to take out these lows. This is risky going, this is risky going. All right. That short on gold was just crazy, guys. It was just crazy. Honestly, look at that. What a perfect trade. What a perfect trade. Easy going. Amazing, Nirvana. Happy that you made some profits here. This gold was just picture perfect when took liquidity, then went straight onwards the other liquidity. But I'm keen, what did we do as forecasted? So yeah, 1 base point lowering of interest rates. The market will be surging from now, that will be for sure. Pretty keen to see. Remember, guys, I talked about that trend line, and the trend line is liquidity. I draw it in up front. Look what happened. We just came down, took the liquidity, and now we're surging towards the upside. It's no fucking coincidence here. This is how we trade. This is how we make money. Easy going. GU, I think, is going to be up, but it's a 0.5% loss. No worries. Happens. All right. Gold was the move. Gold was the move. And now it's going up. Now it's going up. That's so obvious. That's so obvious. What's Bitcoin doing? Not too much, respecting this area of liquidity. Not interested, not interested. Gold was the play, gold was the play. Just using liquidity and my strategy, and honestly, it's a pretty easy strategy. There are some nums and the things on the road that you have to learn, obviously. But what I do is I teach my students how to see the market for what it really is, meaning that you have to understand different type of strategies like support and resistance, trendline traders, smart money concept traders, market structure traders, Fibonacci traders. And when you understand those two, trading becomes so easy, because now you know where the masses go in and just where all the people think we go long. This is where we short the market. So easy. You can learn my strategy by going into my Discord. There is an upgrade into my channel. You can upgrade, come into my Whop. All the videos are there, and I give 24/7 support on my VIP Discord, but I also help in the free Discord, because yeah, it's my calling to help you guys all with making these crazy ass profits. This is how many pips on the move. It's pretty astonishing. That's 387 pips in what, 1 minute ish. That's crazy. All right. Thanks for everyone for being on the stream. We'll be live streaming tomorrow morning, London session. Let's see if we can catch some serious trades over there. For now, I will be closing the stream, and wish you all an amazing evening. Take some rest, and see you back tomorrow, locked in. guys.